She never imagined that showing up with her baby would be the thing that saved her dream. Angel Rodriguez was running. Her sneakers slapped against the wet Denver pavement, laptop bag bouncing against her hip, 6-month-old Lily strapped to her chest in a carrier that was starting to cut into her shoulders. The babysitter had texted 15 minutes ago. Family emergency. So sorry. Angel had stared at that message for exactly 3 seconds before grabbing Lily, her laptop, and the pitch deck she'd rehearsed 100 times. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. 3 months of rent hung in the balance. Her app, CareConnect, was dying a slow death without proper funding. This meeting with Alexander Whitmore, CEO of Whitmore Ventures, was her last shot. She'd sent 73 pitch emails over 6 months. Only one person had responded. Him. The restaurant entrance loomed ahead. Through the glass, she could see marble columns, white tablecloths, executives in suits that probably cost more than her monthly grocery budget. Her reflection stared back at her. Damp hair, wrinkled blazer barely hiding Lily's carrier, mascara slightly smudged from the sprint through light rain. She could turn around, email an apology, reschedule, but she'd already rescheduled twice due to Lily's doctor appointments. There wouldn't be a fourth chance. Angel pushed through the door. The hostess's smile faltered when she saw the baby. Reservation? Rodriguez. Meeting Alexander Whitmore. The hostess's expression shifted to something between pity and disapproval. This way, Alex Whitmore sat at a corner table, reviewing something on his tablet. He looked exactly like his photos. Sharp jawline, dark hair starting to gray at the temples, expensive suit that fit perfectly. Cold. Intimidating. Everything the business article said about him. Angel reached the table, words tumbling out before he could speak. Mr. Whitmore, I'm so sorry. My babysitter had an emergency, and I know this is unprofessional, but I've been waiting months for this meeting, and I couldn't. I didn't want to. He stood. That stopped her mid-sentence. Then he did something that made the entire restaurant seem to pause. He reached toward Lily with steady, practiced hands. May I? Angel froze. This wasn't in any scenario she'd imagined. Alex gently lifted Lily from the carrier, cradling her with surprising skill against his shoulder. Lily, who usually fussed with strangers, settled immediately, her tiny hand grabbing his tie. My daughter was exactly this age when I became a single father, he said quietly, his voice losing its corporate edge. I know what showing up anyway looks like. He met Angel's eyes. Now, let's hear your pitch. Angel stood there, stunned, watching a billionaire CEO bounce her daughter while pulling out a chair for her with his free hand. She sat, opened her laptop, and began. CareConnect matches parents with vetted caregivers in real time. Not just babysitters, backup childcare for emergencies exactly like today. Her voice gained strength. The market is parents like me. Single mothers. Working parents without family support. People who need help but can't afford full-time nannies. Alex listened, occasionally asking questions, never once looking impatient even when Lily grabbed his expensive watch. He saw what others hadn't. Genuine innovation. A founder who understood the problem because she lived it daily. 40 minutes later, he handed Lily back. Carefully, like he knew how precious she was. I'm offering $250,000 in seed funding. Weekly check-ins. I'll mentor you through scaling. Angel's throat tightened. Why? Because you built something worth investing in. He paused. And because you showed up. That matters more than people think. She nodded, unable to speak. Outside, clutching Lily close, Angel finally let herself breathe. The meeting she'd nearly missed had just changed everything. Over the next 4 weeks, Angel learned that Alex Whitmore wasn't just investing money. He was investing time. They met at his office on Tuesdays. Coffee shops on Thursdays. Once at a park when both brought their daughters. Alex taught her things they never covered in her state college computer science program. Investor relations, scalability models, navigating the tech world's unwritten class hierarchies. Angel was grateful, but also wary. She'd been burned before by men who offered help with invisible strings attached. During their third session, in a conference room that probably cost more than her entire apartment, Lily had a meltdown. Teething, exhausted, inconsolable. Angel stood, apologizing, reaching for her daughter. Alex was faster. He scooped Lily up, walked her around the room with practiced ease. humming something soft while discussing marketing strategies like it was the most natural thing in the world. Your user acquisition cost is too high. Have you considered partnership marketing with pediatrician offices? Angel watched him, unsettled. He looked so natural with Lily. Patient. Kind. Nothing like the ruthless CEO the business press described. You're good at that, she said quietly. I've had practice. Something sad flickered across his face. My daughter Sophie doesn't sleep well. Lots of late-night walking. Lily settled against his shoulder, her crying fading to whimpers. Angel felt something shift in her chest. Something dangerous. Meanwhile, Marcus Bennett, Alex's business partner and closest friend, noticed things. The way Alex checked his phone more often before their Tuesday meetings. The way he talked about Angel's app with unusual enthusiasm during investor calls. You're spending a lot of time on this one, Marcus said carefully one evening, reviewing quarterly reports in Alex's office. She has potential. The app could scale nationally. I'm not talking about the app. Alex looked up sharply. It's professional. Is it? Marcus's expression was gentle. Because I've known you for 15 years, and I haven't seen you this engaged with anything since Victoria died. Alex said nothing. But that night, reviewing quarterly reports, he found himself thinking about Angel's laugh instead. The way she argued with him when she thought his suggestions were wrong. How she never seemed impressed by his money or reputation. He couldn't explain why that mattered so much. Across town, Angel faced similar interrogation from Carmen Torres, her best friend since college. You're wearing lipstick, Carmen said flatly, sprawled on Angel's second-hand couch while Lily napped. To a business meeting. It's professional. You hate lipstick. You called it unnecessary face paint for 4 years straight. Angel felt heat rise in her cheeks. He's helping me. I want to look put together. Uh-huh. Carmen's expression was knowing. So you're not catching feelings for Mr. Moneybags? No. The denial came too fast. Angel. Carmen, even if I were, which I'm not, he's a billionaire. I'm a single mom from the South Side who shops diaper sales. We're from different planets. Maybe, Carmen said. Or maybe you're both just people who happen to like each other. But Angel couldn't let herself believe that. Not yet. Not when trusting the wrong person had already cost her so much. Still, by week 4, CareConnect had gained 300 new users. Small improvements Alex suggested were working. And Angel couldn't deny the flutter in her stomach every time his name appeared on her phone. She hated herself for it. At 2 a.m. on a Thursday, Angel's app crashed. She stared at her laptop screen, watching error messages multiply, panic rising like ice water in her veins. They'd launched a promotional campaign that evening. New users were flooding in. And now everything was breaking. She tried fixes. Rebooted servers. Nothing worked. Her finger hovered over Alex's contact. It was 2 a.m. This crossed every professional boundary. But if she didn't fix this now, she'd lose all those new users and the credibility she'd barely started building. She called. He answered on the second ring. Voice alert, not groggy. Angel? What's wrong? My app crashed. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have called. But send me your server logs. I'm on my way. What? No, you don't have to. He'd already hung up. 47 minutes later, Alex Whitmore stood in her tiny apartment, laptop open on her kitchen table, surrounded by instant coffee and Angel's mounting panic. Lily slept in the next room, oblivious to the crisis. They worked until dawn. His fingers flew across the keyboard. She fed him information, followed his instructions, slowly understanding what had broken and why. When the app finally stabilized, showing green status indicators across all systems, Angel broke. She didn't plan to cry, but exhaustion and relief and months of barely holding everything together crashed over her at once. Tears came hot and fast. Alex sat beside her at the table, awkward with her emotional display but not running from it. You built something worth saving, he said quietly. Something shifted between them in that moment. A recognition that this had become more than business, more than mentorship. A week later, Alex invited her to dinner. Sophie should meet Lily, he said, framing it as networking but meaning something else entirely. The mansion took Angel's breath away. Glass walls overlooking the city. Staff moving silently through rooms larger than her entire apartment. Sophie appeared, tiny and shy, hiding behind her father's legs. Sophie, this is Angel. And that's Lily. The evening unfolded with careful sweetness. Sophie slowly warmed, showing Lily her elaborate playroom. Angel helped Alex in the kitchen. He insisted on cooking himself, something about wanting it to feel normal. But nothing felt normal. The gap between their worlds was enormous. Angel saw it in every expensive surface, every casual luxury he didn't even notice. After dinner, Sophie sat close to Angel on the couch, studying her with solemn 3-year-old intensity. Then, with devastating innocence, she asked, "Are you going to be my new mommy?" The room froze. Angel's throat closed. Alex looked stricken. Neither knew how to answer a child's honest question about something they hadn't even acknowledged to themselves. Before anyone could speak, the front door opened. A tall man with silver hair and an expensive coat walked in, his presence filling the room with immediate tension. "Alex, I didn't realize you had company." His eyes landed on Angel with sharp assessment. "I'm Richard Whitmore, Alex's father." And Angel knew, looking at his polite but measuring expression, that complications had just begun. Richard Whitmore didn't leave after his interruption. He settled into an armchair like he owned the place, which, Angel realized with sinking clarity, he probably did in some legal, complicated way. "I came to see my granddaughter," he said, his voice measured and polite. "I didn't realize Alex was entertaining. Angel and I were discussing business," Alex said, his tone careful. "Of course." Richard's smile didn't reach his eyes. He turned his attention to Angel. "What kind of business are you in, Miss Rodriguez?" "I'm developing a caregiving platform." "How interesting." The way he said it suggested it was anything but. "And where did you study?" Angel felt the question's weight. Not what did you study, but where? Class markers disguised as polite conversation. Colorado State. Computer science. State school. Richard nodded, as if confirming something. "And your family? Are they here in Denver?" Alex stood abruptly. "Dad, this isn't an interview. I'm simply getting acquainted with your business associate." Richard's expression remained pleasant, but Angel heard the message clearly. "I'm evaluating whether you're worth my son's time." She made an excuse about Lily needing to get home. Alex walked her to the door, his jaw tight. "I'm sorry about that," he said quietly. "Don't be." Angel forced a smile. "He's protecting you. I get it." But driving home through dark streets, she felt the encounter settle heavy in her chest. Richard had looked at her and seen exactly what she feared people would see. Not enough. Wrong background. Wrong class. Wrong everything. The real confrontation happened after she left. "She's a business investment," Richard said, swirling expensive scotch in a crystal glass. "Nothing more, I assume?" Alex didn't answer immediately. That was answer enough. "Son, I'm not forbidding anything. I'm simply pointing out optics. You're a widower, barely 3 years out. She's a single mother you invested in. People will talk. More importantly, the board will question your judgment. My judgment built this company. And your judgment now seems distracted." Richard set down his glass. "I approved of Victoria. She understood our world, complimented your image. This woman, she's struggling. She needs you. There's a difference between charity and partnership." Alex felt anger rise, hot and familiar. But beneath it, seeds of doubt took root. Was he being rational? Or was Marcus right? Was this about more than business? Meanwhile, Angel faced her own crisis. Elena Ruiz collapsed at work 2 days later. Nothing serious, the doctors said. Dehydration, exhaustion, stress. But it meant tests, bills, time off work she couldn't afford. Angel juggled everything. Lily's teething, CareConnect's growing user base, her mother's medical appointments. She was running on 3 hours of sleep and pure caffeine, her body operating on survival instinct. When Alex found out, through Carmen, who'd mentioned it casually thinking he already knew, he called immediately. "Why didn't you tell me about your mother?" "Because it's handled. Angel, I can help. Medical bills, time off work, whatever she needs." "No." The word came out sharper than she intended. "Why not? I have resources." Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time. So if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. "That's exactly why not." Angel's voice rose. Lily stirred in her carrier. She lowered her tone, but the anger remained. "You think money solves everything. Just throw cash at problems, and they disappear." "That's not what I'm saying." "That's exactly what you're saying. My mother's dignity isn't for sale. Neither is mine." Alex was quiet for a moment. "I'm trying to help." "No, you're trying to fix. There's a difference." Angel felt years of resentment bubbling up. At Jordan, at every man who tried to control her through supposed generosity. I don't need rescuing. I need partners who see me as equal, not charity cases. I've never seen you as a charity case. Haven't you? Her laugh was bitter. The poor single mom with the failing app? You swooped in like some kind of savior. Maybe your father's right. Maybe this was always about you feeling good about yourself. The words hit their mark. Alex's voice went cold. If that's what you think, then maybe we're wasting each other's time. Maybe we are. Angel hung up, stood in her tiny kitchen, shaking with anger and something that felt dangerously close to grief. She'd pushed him away, like she always did when people got too close, when vulnerability threatened to crack her carefully constructed armor. Carmen found her crying that night, Lily asleep in her arms. You don't have to do everything alone, you know. Yes, I do. Because the moment I rely on someone, they leave. Or worse, they stay but make me feel small for needing them. Alex isn't Jordan. How do you know? Angel looked up, eyes red. How do you know he won't wake up one day and realize I'm too much work? Carmen had no answer for that. Some fears ran too deep for logic. The text arrived 3 days into Angel and Alex's Cold War. Jordan Mitchell, hey, heard you're doing amazing things. I'm proud of you. Can we talk? Angel stared at her phone like it had turned into a snake. Jordan, who'd walked out during her second trimester, who'd ignored every call when Lily was born premature and fighting for breath, who'd sent exactly 2 texts in 14 months, both vague promises to check in soon. Now, suddenly, Jordan wanted to talk. Carmen's response was immediate and profane when Angel showed her the message. Block that number. Now, I need to know what he wants. He wants money, or access, or to make himself feel better about being a deadbeat. Carmen's expression was fierce. Nothing good comes from this. But Angel agreed to meet anyway, told herself she needed closure, needed to face the ghost that still haunted her trust issues. They met at a neutral coffee shop. Jordan looked good. Too good. New haircut, expensive sneakers, that same easy smile that had once made Angel believe in forever. You look amazing, Jordan said, standing to hug her. Angel stepped back. What do you want? Jordan's smile faltered only slightly. Can't I just want to see you? Check in on how you're doing. You could have done that any time in the last year. I know. I was scared, Angel. Immature. But I've been thinking a lot about Lily. About being a father. I want to make this right. Angel studied Jordan's face, looking for truth. Found only practiced sincerity. Make what right. I want to be in her life. Co-parent properly. I've grown up, gotten my act together. What do you do now? For work? A slight pause. Freelance marketing. It's flexible, which is perfect for shared custody. Shared custody. The words tasted like ash. I have rights, Angel. As her father, I've been talking to a lawyer, just to understand the process, nothing hostile. But Lily deserves to know both parents. There it was. The threat wrapped in concern. Angel's hands went cold. I also heard, Jordan continued, tone carefully casual, that you're connected with some important people now. Whitmore Ventures, right? That's impressive. And there it was. The real reason. Jordan had smelled money and opportunity. This conversation is over. Angel stood. Angel, wait. You don't want to be Lily's father. You want access to what you think I have. But here's the truth. I have nothing. Whatever you heard, it's wrong. Now stay away from my daughter. She walked out before Jordan could respond, adrenaline making her hands shake. But Jordan's threat wasn't empty. 4 days later, official paperwork arrived. A custody petition citing Angel's financial instability, demanding work schedule, and pattern of poor judgment in relationships. Angel read it 3 times, each pass making her more nauseous. Jordan was actually doing this, using their child as leverage. She should call Alex. Should tell him. But pride and hurt kept her silent. She'd handle this alone, like she handled everything. Across town, Alex faced his own battle. The board meeting Richard called was supposedly about Q4 projections. But 5 minutes in, the real agenda became clear. Your recent decisions have been erratic, one investor said carefully. The Rodriguez investment, for instance. Significant capital for relatively untested technology. CareConnect has strong fundamentals. Does it? Richard leaned forward. Or does its founder have strong fundamentals in other areas? The implication hung in the air, ugly and unmistakable. Marcus jumped in. That's inappropriate. Alex's investment decisions have always been sound. His investment decisions used to be sound, another board member corrected. Lately, he seems distracted. Personal matters affecting professional judgment. Alex felt walls closing in. His father was building a case, turning allies against him. And the worst part? There was truth in it. He had been distracted, had bent professional boundaries. For Angel, perhaps, Richard said smoothly, we should discuss additional oversight. Not replacing you, son. Simply support. Translation, control. His father wanted control. After the meeting, Marcus caught Alex in the hallway. He's building something. A campaign to prove you're compromised. I know. Then fight back. Issue a statement. Clarify the relationship. There is no relationship. The words tasted like lies. Angel and I barely speak anymore. Marcus studied his friend's face. Then why do you look like you're grieving? Alex had no answer. Only the hollow feeling that he'd chosen wrong. Again, just like with Victoria, he'd prioritized business over what mattered. And this time, he might have lost Angel before he'd ever really had her. The article dropped on a Tuesday morning, right as Angel was feeding Lily breakfast. Whitmore Ventures CEO's conflict of interest, dating the startup he funded. By Jessica Park, tech industry reporter. Angel's hands went numb. The article featured grainy photos. Her and Alex at the park, both holding their daughters. At a coffee shop, leaning close over laptops. Entering his mansion, Lily visible in her arms. The text was worse. It questioned ethics. Implied Angel's success came from personal rather than professional merit. Used phrases like inappropriate relationship and concerning pattern and gold digger. Within an hour, CareConnect's app reviews filled with comments. Did she sleep her way to funding? Another woman using men for money. How can we trust this app when the founder has no integrity? Angel watched her rating drop in real time. Watched months of work unravel because of photos taken without permission, a narrative written by someone who'd never met her. Her phone exploded. Messages from users, investors, random trolls. One voicemail simply called her a whore and hung up. She sat on her kitchen floor, Lily playing with blocks nearby, and felt everything crumble. Alex called. She almost didn't answer. Angel, I just saw. Don't. Just don't. My legal team is drafting a statement. We'll address this, make it clear. Make what clear? Her voice was hollow. That I'm not a gold digger? That I actually earn my funding? Nobody will believe that now. I'll make them believe it. How, Alex? By staying silent while your lawyers protect the Whitmore name? She laughed bitterly. Let me guess. They're advising you not to comment. To let it blow over. His silence was answer enough. That's what I thought. Angel felt something break inside her. I'm alone in this. Just like I always am. That's not fair, isn't it? Where's the public support? Where's the statement saying I earned this legitimately? Where's anything proving you believe in me beyond closed doors? It's not that simple. It really is. Angel's voice hardened. But I'm going to make this simple for you. She drafted the statement in 20 minutes. Posted it on every platform before she could second guess. Statement from Angel Rodriguez, CareConnect founder. Effective immediately, I am returning all investment from Whitmore Ventures and severing our professional relationship. Whatever personal connection may or may not exist between Mr. Whitmore and myself is irrelevant to my business. CareConnect's success or failure will be my own. I will not allow speculation about my integrity to damage something I built with my own skills and determination. She hit post. Watched it go live. Felt sick. Her phone rang immediately. Alex, what did you just do? What I had to. I'm reclaiming my legitimacy. By returning the funding? Angel, you'll go bankrupt. Maybe. But at least I'll do it with my dignity intact. You should have talked to me first. Why? So you could tell me to wait? To let your lawyers handle it while I twist in the wind. Angel felt tears threatening. I'm done waiting for men to decide if I'm worth defending. That's not what this is. Then what is it, Alex? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like I'm not worth the risk. Not worth fighting your board, your father, the press. I'm just the struggling single mom you felt sorry for. You know that's not true. Do I? Her voice broke. Because I don't know anything anymore. Except that I can't do this. I can't be with someone who makes me feel small even when they're trying to help. She hung up, sat in her apartment, surrounded by silence except for Lily's babbling, and wondered if pushing people away would always be easier than letting them stay. The statement went viral. Tech communities divided. Some praised her integrity. Others called it a publicity stunt. Her funding was gone. Her reputation hung by a thread. Her relationship with Alex, whatever it had been, was over. Angel had made her stand, protected her independence, but independence had never felt so much like loneliness. And 3 days later, Jordan's formal custody documents arrived, citing her unstable financial situation and questionable relationship choices as evidence of unfit motherhood. The walls weren't just closing in anymore. They were crushing her. The custody documents arrived certified mail. Official. Terrifying. Jordan was suing for joint custody. The petition cited Angel's financial instability, made worse by returning Alex's investment, her demanding work schedule, her pattern of poor judgment in relationships, using the media scandal as evidence. Angel read it sitting on her apartment floor, Lily napping in the next room. Without Alex's resources, she couldn't afford proper legal representation. The public defenders were overworked, underpaid. Jordan had hired someone sleek and expensive. She was going to lose her daughter. The thought made her physically ill. She ran to the bathroom, threw up, then sat with her back against the cold tile wall, shaking. For 3 days, she tried to handle it alone. Made calls to legal aid offices. Got waitlisted. Researched custody law until her eyes burned. Stayed up nights drafting responses she knew were inadequate. On the 4th day, she broke. She called Alex at midnight, crying so hard she could barely speak. "I'm sorry. I know I pushed you away, but I'm scared. Jordan's going to take Lily, and I can't afford to fight him, and I don't know what to do. I'm coming over." "No, I just needed to." He'd already hung up. 20 minutes later, he stood at her door. She answered with swollen eyes, wearing pajamas, looking like exactly what she was, someone at the absolute end of their rope. "Tell me everything," he said. She did. All of it. The custody petition, Jordan's manipulation, her terror of losing the one person who made everything worth it. Alex listened, then said quietly, "Let me help. Not by throwing money at it. Let me connect you with resources. A family lawyer who does pro bono work. Character witnesses. People who see you for who you really are." Angel wanted to refuse. Pride demanded it. But looking at Lily sleeping peacefully, she realized pride mattered less than keeping her daughter safe. "Okay," she whispered. Meanwhile, across town, Sophie asked the same question she'd been asking for weeks. "When is Angel coming back?" And Lily? Alex knelt beside his daughter, heart aching. "Soon, sweetheart. You said that before." Sophie's eyes were too knowing for 3 years old. "Did you make her sad?" "Mama used to get sad when you worked too much." The words hit like a physical blow. Sophie barely remembered Victoria, but somehow she saw the pattern. Alex absent when it mattered. Choosing corporate safety over human connection. Marcus found him that evening, staring at nothing in his office. "You look like hell." "I keep failing people." Alex's voice was flat. "Victoria died while I was in a meeting. Angel's losing custody while I hide behind board approval. What's wrong with me?" "Nothing's wrong with you." Marcus sat down. "You're just scared. But here's the thing. You can't control everything. You can't guarantee outcomes. But you can control showing up. So show up, Alex. For real this time." Alex thought about Sophie's question. About Angel crying on the phone, alone and terrified. About all the times he'd chosen strategy over presence. "Yeah," he said. "I can do that." The custody hearing was everything Angel feared. She represented herself, armed with printouts and determination. Jordan sat beside a lawyer in a perfect suit, looking reformed and responsible. They painted her as unstable, financially struggling, professionally questionable, unable to provide stable housing. The judge ordered home evaluations. A social worker would assess both environments. Angel returned to her apartment, looked at the peeling paint and secondhand furniture, and wanted to scream. How could she compete with whatever perfect setup Jordan had staged? She worked frantically anyway. Painted walls at midnight. Organized Lily's toys. Made the small space look as stable as possible while somehow keeping CareConnect running and her mother's medical appointment scheduled. Carmen helped. Elena tried. But Angel was drowning, and everyone could see it. Meanwhile, Alex sat in a boardroom facing his father's ultimatum. "Your recent decisions suggest you need oversight," Richard said smoothly. Other investors nodded. "Perhaps temporary management support." "You mean control." "I mean protection." "From yourself, apparently." Alex listened to them discuss his company, his life, his choices like he wasn't there. For years he'd done this, sacrificed personal life for professional success. chosen their approval over his own desires. He thought about Victoria dying while he negotiated deals, about Angel facing custody battles while he hid behind corporate strategy, about Sophie asking when Angel would come back, and whether he'd made her sad. In that moment, something broke. Or maybe healed. No, he said. Richard paused. Excuse me. No more oversight. No more control. This is my company. My life. My choice. Alex stood. And I choose to be present for what actually matters. He walked out mid-meeting, ignoring his father's warnings, and drove straight to Angel's apartment. Alex appeared at Angel's door in the middle of the afternoon, still wearing his suit from the meeting he'd abandoned. Angel answered with Lily on her hip, paint in her hair, exhausted and beautiful. I'm sorry, he said before she could speak. I'm sorry I wasn't there when the article came out. I'm sorry I let you fight alone. I'm sorry I've been so afraid of failing that I keep failing in the ways that actually matter. He paused. Tell me what you need. Angel felt walls crumble. I need help with the custody battle. I'm scared Jordan will win because my apartment isn't perfect. I'm terrified of being judged as unfit. Okay. Alex pulled out his phone. Made calls. Not to control, but to provide resources. He connected her with Sarah Martinez, a family lawyer who specialized in pro bono cases for single parents. Marcus helped Angel create a business stability plan. Elena gave her perspective to the social worker. Carmen provided documentation of Angel's consistent caregiving. Alex wrote a character statement, not as a billionaire throwing weight around, but as someone who'd watched Angel mother her daughter with devotion and strength. The home evaluations happened. Jordan's apartment looked perfect, sterile, staged, empty of actual life. Angel's was small, but filled with love. Photos, toys, evidence of real daily parenting. The social worker observed Lily with both parents. With Jordan, she was clingy, uncertain, reaching for familiar arms. With Angel, she was secure, happy, completely herself. That evening, after everything was submitted, Angel and Alex sat on her worn couch. Their children slept. The future was uncertain. I don't know how to do this, Angel said quietly. Us. Neither do I. Alex took her hand. But I'm done running from uncertainty. I want to show up. Imperfectly. Honestly. For you. Angel looked at their intertwined fingers. At this man who'd walked out of a board meeting to stand beside her. Who'd connected her with help instead of just offering money. Who'd finally chosen presence over protection. Okay, she whispered. Let's try. It wasn't a fairy tale promise. Just two broken people choosing each other anyway. The envelope arrived on a Thursday morning. Official court letterhead. Angel's hands shook opening it. Custody decision. Primary physical custody remains with Angel Rodriguez. Jordan Mitchell granted supervised visitation only, twice monthly, pending completion of parenting courses. The judge's notes were clear. Lily's attachment to Angel was undeniable. Evidence of consistent caregiving was overwhelming. Jordan's motivations appeared opportunistic, his relationship with the child non-existent beyond biology. Angel read it 3 times. Then sat down hard on her kitchen floor and cried. Not from relief. From exhaustion. From the sheer weight of months of fear finally lifting. Jordan threatened appeals immediately. His lawyers sent aggressive letters. But Sarah Martinez, the pro bono attorney Alex had connected Angel with, calmly explained that the decision was sound. Appeals were expensive. Jordan's case was weak. Within 2 weeks, Jordan's threats faded to silence. The opportunism exposed, he drifted back to whatever life he'd been living, uninterested in actual parenting once it required effort without reward. That evening, Angel brought Lily to Alex's house. Not for crisis management, not for business, just to be together. Sophie squealed when she saw them, running to hug Angel's legs like she'd been gone years instead of weeks. The 4 of them had dinner in the kitchen, not the formal dining room with its crystal and intimidation. Just mismatched plates, baby food stains, and laughter that felt like home. Later, after both girls fell asleep, Angel and Alex sat on the back porch under stars that seemed brighter than usual. I still don't know how to do this, Angel said quietly. Us. I'm still scared of losing myself. Of being seen as less than. Alex nodded. I'm scared of being absent when it matters. Of hiding behind work when things get hard. Of failing you the way I failed Victoria. They sat with those fears. Not dismissing them. Not promising they'd magically disappear. No guarantees? Angel asked. No guarantees, Alex agreed. Just showing up. Honestly. even when it's uncomfortable. I can do uncomfortable. Yeah. He took her hand. Me too. It wasn't a proposal. Wasn't a fairy tale declaration. Just two broken people choosing each other anyway, knowing it would be messy and hard and worth it. 6 months passed. CareConnect recovered. Angel secured diverse funding from 3 different investors, none connected to Alex. The app grew steadily, organically. She hired 2 employees, both single parents who understood the mission personally. She finally paid herself a real salary. Small but real. Alex restructured his relationship with Whitmore Ventures board. He established clear boundaries between personal life and business decisions. When Richard pushed back, Alex held firm. The company didn't suffer. If anything, Alex's renewed focus made him sharper, more present in both worlds. Richard attended Sophie's 4th birthday party. He was stiff, uncomfortable, clearly struggling with his son's choices. But he showed up, brought an expensive gift Sophie ignored in favor of the homemade card Angel had helped her make. Elena cornered Richard by the snack table, speaking in rapid Spanish he clearly didn't understand, but got the message anyway. Hurt my daughter or granddaughter, and billionaire or not, you'll answer to me. Richard almost smiled. Almost. Angel and Alex didn't rush. No engagement. No moving in together. They were building a foundation that wouldn't crack under pressure, and that required time. But they were together. At Sophie's soccer games where Lily cheered from the sidelines. At grocery stores arguing about organic versus regular produce. In moments of crisis and ordinary evenings that felt extraordinary because they were shared. They created something neither expected, a nonprofit supporting single-parent entrepreneurs. Marcus helped with the business structure. Carmen designed the website. Elena volunteered for outreach. They named it Lily's Launch, after the baby who'd brought 2 broken people together. The launch event happened on a warm October evening. Angel stood before a room full of single mothers, sharing her story without shame. The struggles, the judgment, the fear that asking for help meant admitting weakness. But here's what I learned, she said, Lily playing quietly at her feet. Real strength isn't doing everything alone. It's knowing when to reach out. It's building community instead of walls. It's showing up imperfectly and trusting that's enough. In the audience, Alex held Sophie, who'd fallen asleep against his shoulder. Carmen made inappropriate jokes that made Marcus laugh. Elena beamed with the pride only a mother can feel watching her daughter thrive. Angel looked at them. This chosen family built from struggle and choice and stubborn refusal to give up, and realized something. She'd been looking for rescue. For someone to fix everything, make life easy, erase all the hard parts. But what she'd found was better. Partnership. Community. People who showed up not to save her, but to stand beside her while she saved herself. No fairy tale ending. No magical transformation. Just real people building real lives together, one imperfect day at a time. After the event, walking to their cars under streetlights, Alex said, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. Angel shifted Lily to her other hip. For showing up anyway. Sophie stirred, mumbled something about pancakes, went back to sleep. They laughed, made plans for breakfast, went home to their separate apartments, but connected lives. And Angel understood finally, love wasn't something that rescued you. It was what grew when you both chose to stay, especially when leaving would be easier. They were staying. Messily. Imperfectly. Completely. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.